You're about to enjoy a Cloudcast original. Local stories, local storytellers, local brands.
Have you ever felt that you as a woman may not appear to measure up when you see incredible women in strong roles? You may be surprised when hearing from women in these positions and how we all share many of the same challenges. Thank you for joining us for the CEO Leading In podcast with Rebecca Jones as we share the journeys of women.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Jones, your host of CEO. We are on an exploration together to discover more about the personal journeys of incredible women in both career and life. We all have paths to share that sometimes take incredible turns, deep resilience, and courage to navigate. My hopes are that the challenges shared here encourage women to take leaps of faith and growth when a journey feels too difficult or unachievable. There is great strength deep within each one of us. These stories are meant to share the ways strong women have taken their dreams to strive and thrive to new heights despite their sometimes rocky paths and found a way to lead in. Today we are here with Anna Arancibia, and she's the Executive Director of the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
Wonderful. Well, I'm so excited to hear all about the wonderful things that you're doing. So tell us, I'm sure every day looks a little different, but tell us what a normal day looks like for you.
Well, like you said, every day is a little different, but we actually just opened a pool on June 24th. So that was a big deal because we haven't had a pool. We had a pool before our renovation, but we haven't had a pool at Jackie Robinson since March of 2016. So our community didn't have a pool for basically 6 years. So it was a really big deal. Planning and prepping that was major, hiring the lifeguards, making sure that we have everybody in place. And so right now, the focus has been on the pool and ensuring that we have swim lessons and open rec swim. And it's just been really awesome to see like kids in the water and kids learning how to swim. So that's our biggest, and hiring kids from the community too to be able to become lifeguards at our pool and at our Y. So it's been awesome to see.
Yeah, and there's a lot of kids that actually don't have opportunities to ever swim. My mom, she actually grew up in Lameda Village. She never actually learned to swim.
It's quite amazing. We live 15 minutes away from from the beach, and we have so many kids that don't know how to swim. So providing that access and opportunity and making sure that kids have the availability and the access to learn how to swim is super important to not only the Y, but also to me to make sure that our community has that resource. And we provide scholarships too, so that no one's turned away due to inability to pay. So It's really important that kids have that access to water and to the pool and to lessons, and so that they can go to the beach and have fun and feel safe.
Yeah, the safety part is such a big deal because definitely, even if you know how to swim, you get into those waves at the beach and boom, they knock you down. You're kind of going, whoa, what
and
just
then
happened?
Just knowing what to do in the water,
Exactly.
like how to relax, how to breathe, how to make sure you know how to float. And that's the thing is like a lot of kids they just don't even know how to float in the water. So I was just talking to our aquatics director about that, how to just be relaxed in the water. And also, it's interesting because the water also for us symbolizes a space of healing too, because when you go into the water and then you emerge out of the water, it's like you almost feel renewed. Right. So for a lot of our families, it's just a space to be able to just walk into and cool off, especially on a hot day, and then come back out feeling re-energized and almost reawakened. So it serves multiple purposes. The pool does. So that's right now. The focus has been on the pool and ensuring that we have our swim lessons available. But we also offer sports, youth sports. So we have a huge basketball program. We have a soccer program, and then also we offer RBI, which is reviving baseball in the inner city. And currently, that's what we're doing. It's in partnership with the Padres. So
nice.
It's a free baseball program throughout the summer. We provide everything, so the uniform, gloves, everything, the instruction, and it's just to get kids introduced to the sport of baseball too. So we've had this partnership with the Padres for over 10 years. So it's been an awesome thing that we're able to provide for free for our community as well.
So do any of the players come? And
actually, yes, we do. Well, I mean, we have so many opportunities with them. Like we do like an opening day for RBI as well. So we did have we had a player come out for that. And then, and then they get the opportunity to go to Petco Park too, which has been a really cool opportunity. They got to meet Musgrove as well. So it's a cool partnership, and it's providing access to kids to the game of baseball, because a lot of times it's really expensive and you can't afford all the equipment to be able to play baseball. So now that we have this, it's like an introductory baseball league that they can participate in and get them excited about the game of baseball as well. It's important to have because our name is Jackie Robinson. So
yeah, exactly. Of course, it kind of goes with it, right?
Yeah, a great baseball program. But it's just been, like I said, over 10 years that we've been able to host that. So
that's great.
We have this summer program, and then of course we have day camp going on right now too as well. Mm-hmm. So we have over like 180 kids in our day camp program weekly. And this is the first summer that they actually get to go in the water, into the pool. So we've had the campers, the little 5 and 6 year olds in their what are they called, puddle jumpers, jumping in, and they're all floating around. So it's been really cool to see kids in the water. And so summer is very busy right now, especially since coming back from the pandemic. It was really slow at first, but now that we've opened back youth sports, it's like our youth sports program has just exploded. We have so many kids, like I said, in basketball, soccer, and baseball right now. So it's just, I feel like our space has been the space of connection, right? So because people were so isolated before, the why has been, Jackie Robinson has been that space for connection, So where we've hosted, health fairs, we've hosted different community fairs as well, because we are known as that location where people can come and be safe. So.
Yeah, definitely. So what else are you doing for families, though? I know you do quite a bit.
Yeah, we do. So we have the first Wednesday of every month, we host a health and resource fair. That's with Dr. Aflalo. She's the one that coordinates it, but we are the host for it. We have it in our parking lot, and we provide, they basically can see a doctor when they come on site. So they can get their blood pressure checked, they can get their diabetes checked, they can get a vaccine. We do COVID testing. There's mammograms as well. And then this past month in July, in the first of Wednesday of July, we actually hosted free sports physicals. So we had a lot of kids coming out, and then we're going to be doing the same thing in August as well, having free sports physicals, which is huge because it's hard to get an appointment with the doctor. Yeah. Sometimes parents, as a parent too, it happens to me, I'm running, I'm like, oh no, I need to get a sports physical for my daughter. And you called up the doctor and the appointment is 2 months out. So it's being able to have this resource available for families is huge, and they can take advantage of it there.
And it's all free, too.
Yes, it's all free.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, it's all free.
So let's just go back a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about you before the career came about. So do you have a childhood memory where you just say, you know what, this is how I actually knew what I was going to do, or just something that's fun that you want to share with our listeners?
I mean, it's funny because I always I was really artistic. I liked being. I wanted to be an artist when I was little. Interesting. And then, but then I went to college, and then I was like, maybe I want to be a doctor. And then I was like, I took chemistry, and I was like, just kidding, I don't want to do that. And I was actually I was a political science major. And then I was like, okay, maybe I can be a lawyer. I would love to be. Then I was like, I don't want to do homework for. I don't want to do homework for the rest of my life. But I actually, in college, I got involved I was an AmeriCorps member in a nonprofit. It was called Jumpstart at the time, where you worked one-on-one with a preschooler. And then during the summertime, you led your own preschool classroom. Ooh. So I think that is where, but also I come from a family of teachers. So all of my family, my mom was a teacher, my brothers were teachers, and they were all in this, in the teaching field or out of school time field. And I think when I first so I graduated from college. I went to Boston University. I came back to San Diego, and my first job back was like with Jackie Robinson, actually.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, it was for a site supervisor position for an after-school program at St. Stephen's, which is a church down the street from Jackie Robinson. And I was like, okay, when I get my real job, like this was me like thinking like when I get a real job, because, that's not a real job when you're a site supervisor at an after school program. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then I ended up so the executive director at the time, Michael Brunker, who has preceded me, he was like, oh, I brought a basketball team from the after school program. And he was like, oh, you brought a basketball team? This is great. And then there was a position open for a sports director position, and he encouraged me to apply. So I did. I ended up becoming the sports director. I played sports, but I had no idea, like, in terms of, like, what I would be doing. But I learned so much that first year in terms of just being a director. And I think then I also had a mentor that told me, she was like, the cool thing about, because I was thinking about becoming a teacher too, because my whole family, they were all teachers.
Sure.
And she told me, she's like, you know what? The thing about being a teacher is that you have an impact on like 30 kids at that 1 year, right?
Right.
And that accumulates over time. But she's like, the thing about what you're doing now, like with the Y, she's like, you have an impact over thousands of people at one time. And and that just kind of clicked for me in the sense of like, okay, I can make an impact on more people doing the work that I do here. So I think we always would talk about like politics at the dinner table or like how to give back. And so for me, it's always been ingrained. And whatever I do, I have to be super passionate about. And I have to make sure that it's giving back to the community and making sure that I love to do the work that I do. And that's what I love doing there, so.
And then you found your purpose.
Yeah. It's absolutely like, it's a lot of work, but I feel inspired and passionate about what I do every day. Like every day there's an instance where I you just, even with a communication with like a 5-year-old who's like, hey friend, and you're like, oh, that's like awesome. Or, a family that, needed scholarship to be able to attend our programs, and I can approve more scholarship for them to attend. That is a huge deal. Like, or, families just saying, this is like the why, or what, Jackie Robinson has truly like changed my life in the sense of health, because we have a gym too, and those kind of things, and making sure that people feel welcomed and happy, and like that's just beautiful that I get to do that every day. Like I get to be able to be a leader of an organization where we can provide that for everybody, from babies all the way to seniors. So it's like it's for everybody.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
One word that describes you. What would that be?
I would say passionate. Everything I do I'm actually a very introverted person, but when it comes to the work and what I do, like I do it with the passion behind me. Like I have to be inspired and excited about the work. So I'm super passionate about the work that I do, and I'm super I would say passionate, because it's just like I love doing this work. I've been at the Y for 19 years now.
Yeah.
And I like grew my career all there.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm super passionate about serving that community and our community, and making sure that, every kid has an opportunity to thrive. And I think every kid, every family should be able to be provided that opportunity. And I think at our Y, we're able to do that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I was actually going to say optimistic, because I think you are also optimistic.
Yes.
You definitely, and you need to be. Honestly, I know in the nonprofit world, it's very tough to figure out how to get all the resources that you need at any given time. And like you mentioned, a lot of the kids come from families that really can't afford to always invest in their kids, even though they want to. So finding that money to help them get the scholarships that they need, I know that can be pretty tough sometimes.
It's stressful, but I think but you know what? When you do the work, the money comes. So I always say that to my staff, everybody. When you're doing the work, people will follow. Like, they will be inspired by what you're doing.
And they see how passionate you are,
yeah,
too.
and they'll come. Like, it's not like, I don't want us to stop, like, doing something because of money or and actually that's how ended up our teen center, because our teen center it was dormant. It was not, we didn't have it open up to, it wasn't really a teen center. And then after the pandemic, we had a large influx of teens coming to our Y, just getting the membership because they had nowhere else to go.
Right.
So I worked with our social services side of the Y, and we were able to open up the teen center twice a week with an on-site therapist there, because we saw that they were, our teens were suffering. A lot of people are suffering, but our teens were really suffering. So we opened it up twice a week. And they were coming, and we the team reformatted the entire teen center, so it made it look like a teen center where they could hang out. And then we ended up getting some funding through United Way, and we were able to open it up 5 days a week and provide snacks. And we ended up having 30 to 40 teens every day coming through in the springtime. And then we were able to we got more funding to be able to offer it during the summer as well. So actually they kicked off a podcast there in the teen center as well.
Nice.
And then we also had we have the Science Center there. We have Coding to Careers, which is they provide virtual reality stuff as well. And we actually have a teen book club too. So they pick books that are relatable to the teens, and then they have art projects that go along with the books. So and because we knew that we needed to open up a space, because to provide that space for kids to go and connect and so they wouldn't be alone, and and then it just exploded, and then people saw it and they were like, oh, I want to be able to support that, and so we were able to get funding for it.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah,
and I think one of the reasons that it's probably more pronounced with the kids and the depression issues and all that is because they don't have the coping skills that many adults have. Even though there are adults that don't have coping skills, I think the kids are hurting, and, we're social people.
Yeah.
That's, a big part of who we are.
I mean, I speak about my daughter. My daughter, she was, when the pandemic hit, she was in 8th grade going into 9th grade. And so she didn't have her 8th grade promotion. She missed out, her whole 9th grade year was virtual. And I just saw that for her, even for her, it was just such a huge impact. She was like a straight A student before. She was very outgoing. And then the pandemic hit, and it was just she's at one point, she's like, Mom, I haven't seen my friends in over a year. And she's like, and I had to be like, I'm so sorry. And we had to protect, because we lived with my mom, and, we had to protect my mom at that point. So I saw the impact personally on my children and even me, because it's it was a hard time. So, and for teens to be able to come out and speak and being able to, and when they're isolated like that, it's just really, really hard. And you think about it, the brain doesn't start developing until the age of 25, I think. That's the age, right?
Yeah.
So their brains are still developing.
Right.
So it's imagine having this you can't see your friends, you can't go to school, you're trying to focus on the computer in front of you. And then on top of that, with our teens, some were experiencing food insecurity, others were, you're in a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom house with I don't know how many kids in the house, all trying to virtual learn. So it was a huge impact. And so being able to have the teens now have a space to go to where they have a TV, they have a ping pong table, they even have couches and computers where they can just hang out and just be themselves, was a huge thing for us. And I'm just happy that we were able to provide that space for them as well.
Well, I would say this is going to be a loaded question. Just thinking about what success looks like, I'm imagining after a pandemic, it looks a little different than it would have, say, 5 years ago. But what does success today look like for you?
In terms of personally or
both?
Both?
Yep.
I mean, I see, well, and even at Jackie Robinson, like when we first opened up after the pandemic, it was like so sad because it was just like it was limited hours. It was just quiet. We didn't have the kids there like we normally did. And now to see where it is at and like how, for me, it was super apparent that the why is needed, right? That our why, Jackie Robinson, was needed. And success for me was just being able to open the doors and being able to provide opportunities for kids and families to come and be in a space to connect with others, not only on like with other people, but like connect with their health, right? Because they saw that they can have a place where they can, work out and work and be, health and involve the whole family, right? Because before, like you didn't involve the whole family, but now it's like a whole family thing. So for me, success is being able to see our location, like I said, is a space for connection and a space where families know that they can come and be safe, and it's affordable too. Like that's the biggest thing is that it's affordable, and that we do not turn anybody away due to inability to pay. And then in terms of success for me personally is like it's being able to balance, like right now, because I'm a mom of a 10-year-old and a 15-year-old, so she's about to be 16 next month. Is trying to balance the two, right? Of being a career, like I have a career. I'm an executive. I'm a leader of an organization.
Right.
And then also being the mother and being present for my children all the time, which has been challenging, right? Because it's like I get pulled between those two all the time. So it's being present for my children, and success is me also learning how to say, okay, I need to take a step back.
Right. And
just decompress and not have this job be my only focus, right? So I think, and I'm barely starting to learn that right now. Like I'm just barely like saying, okay, I need I need time for myself. And I think that's also what the pandemic has taught me too, is in terms of just focusing on family and making sure that I can know how to balance the two.
And I think everyone's had this whole shift, kind of, how to balance work with their personal life and figure that out. And it really has looked different, being that there were a lot of, time that you would need to be with your kids to help them with their virtual learning. Just a lot of parents didn't even give their kids before the pandemic a lot of screen time. Mm-hmm. And then that whole shift and how that's affected their interpersonal relationships and all of that, and how, you communicate with them. And I think even before the pandemic, there was this whole, the electronic, everyone walks around with this small computer in their hand called a phone.
Yes.
But how that's actually changed. And then now you have to learn that way too, is like, oh my gosh, it's like a whole evolution.
It's like, and to see the burnout in everybody too, right? For sure. Like, I think because having to do work in front of the computer, doing school in front of the computer, and then, it just felt like it's constantly nonstop. So I think I've barely, like I said, I barely recognize right now, or have realized, okay, I need to actually take time, and this is my time where I'm focusing on myself or like my family and my kids, like, and I'm not going to let the other distractions get in the way. Like, and I think even for my health, my own personal health, like I take 3 days out of the week where I actually work out, and I say these are the times that I work out, and if I have to reschedule it, I will, but I try not to schedule any meetings, around that. So then that way I know that I actually put those times on my calendar. Yeah. So then that way I can focus on myself.
That is very good advice, because I notice when I don't work out too. I notice that mentally I'm not as clear. I can't really focus on all the things that I need to, because you get muddled up in everyday kind of stuff. And it's life, it's reality. And, a lot of people try to say, oh, it's not that important, or, oh, I'll get to that another time. I think putting it in your schedule is really good advice, and helps you probably stay on task.
It's just it's just
got to happen.
Yeah, it's like, anything that I've encountered during the day that is like challenging, or like when I work out, it's weird. Like it's almost like it clears my mind, and then afterwards I can go back to the computer or go back to whatever I was, and it comes out way better for myself, at least personally. Like I just feel like it just gives me peace of mind. It's also like anything that's stressful, because my work is stressful, like it is a lot of work, and it's almost like 24/7 that, for that hour I can just, get all the energy and angst and everything out and just leave it out on the floor, on the fitness floor, and just working out. So it's been super, like I didn't do that before the pandemic at all. Like I would just go, and then I wouldn't.
Evolving.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So
good.
now I definitely take my time.
So I have a question about you as a woman in a leadership role. Do you have any resistance when it comes to men in your career?
That's fine. I mean, of course, I think not resistance. I think, and it might be resistance, but I think a lot of times men will, especially in rooms where there's only men, like when you speak up or when you say something, they're like, oh, like, it's, or you get talked over a lot of times, or that happens all the time. And like I said, I'm a pretty introverted and I'm a quiet person, but when I do speak, I do have something to say. So I've learned now to use my voice more, because when I'm quiet, then nobody's going to know what I have, the important things that I have to say.
That's
so
right.
I have now, since taking this leadership role too, I've known that now I have to speak up more, especially for other women, and especially for other women of color too, because there's very few women of color in leadership positions. So it's important for me to use that voice all the time. But yes, I do. I mean, I have again, and also I like to change the look of leadership too, because I feel like sometimes, like with leadership, you have to be. They talk about being professional and being like this way, and I'm like, I lead with love. So like my thing is about leading with love and making sure that people feel loved on and my staff feel loved on, and that I truly care about them. Because when you love on your staff and when you love on your volunteers, they will love on everybody else, right?
That's right.
And so like, and it's not corny. It's not like that. That is who I am. And I think leadership needs to take on that role, because when you do take on love as as leadership, leading with love, you're going to have more people gravitate towards you. And, you're going to get more people bought into your mission and who you are as a person. So I know, like, it's funny because with men, it seems like a lot of times there's this almost pushback about that, right? About like being like, I even had somebody tell me, another woman saying not to show so much emotion because, you won't be taken seriously that way. And I'm like, but like for me, because my staff know too, I get moved by a lot of things. So like I get teary-eyed through commercials and stuff. So when I see things that move me, I get like teary-eyed and I'll get emotional about it. And even talking about things, I get emotional about it. So for me, it's like, I think for me is showing that transformation in terms of what leadership looks like, right? And especially with other men, to say that we can have emotions, we can have feelings, and that you can be a leader and have those things. Like it's not either or, it's like both of them.
Well, I think as women too, the love part, but also the compassion part, which is right there with love. I think if you don't have that as part of who you are, and that's who you are as a person, and you're not using that in your leadership, I think part of you is going to be missing, and you can't really do it wholeheartedly, right?
Yeah. It's like you have to be either or. It's like you're playing this part, and that's not who you are, right?
No.
You're not.
It's not authentic.
Yeah, it's not authentic. It's like, and we talked about before with my brothers and stuff, they have professional role models, and we say we're not role models, we're real models, right? Because it's you're a real person.
Yeah.
It's not a role that you're playing. Me being the executive director, I'm not playing a role. Like you see me as who I am right here.
Right.
I'm a mother, I get it. Like I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter. I mean, and incorporate all those things when I do lead my organization, my branch, So, because you can't leave them out. You're not either or. It's like it's not like you go home and you're a completely different person, or it's not like you come to work and like you're a completely different person there. You should be, because then you're not being your authentic self. Like you're not being authentically you. And I think that's where I've really tried to push in that sense. I want like everybody to be their authentic selves. I mean, of course, we want to, like there has to be like also like you got to be kind about it, right?
Sure.
But like, but I want people to be their authentic selves in the space, and I think I'm trying to do the same in my role as well.
So that being said, you walk into a room of young women. They want to be leaders. What advice and lessons would you give them that you want them to take away from after they listen to you?
To see themselves as leaders early on, because I didn't see myself as a leader early on. And I've talked about, I actually mentioned this to another group about like speak up early on. Because like I was so quiet before, like I didn't let and I would let things like kind of ruminate inside of me. And then it's funny because I would have these ideas, and then the ideas would be shared by other people, usually other men. And I'm like, that's my, so I would say definitely speak up more, and also get out there more. Like I didn't know and understand the importance of networking until later on in my career, like until basically recently, and get your group of women or group of people that can be your co-sponsor, right? Like in terms of like
your tribe.
Yeah, your tribe,
village.
your village where you can, reach out for mentorship, but also to reach out to be able to like, there's sometimes where you need to have that group of people where you can just vent about like, you know what I had to go through today, and can you believe this happened to me today?
Sure.
And like having that space where you can, but really finding that tribe, but also just like speaking up in the beginning, because like I was so quiet in the beginning that a lot of times I think I held myself back being so quiet. So I would say voice, and I think young people now too, the younger generation do speak up a lot more. So I'm actually, I say that they are going to be the ones that save us, because they do. They're unafraid. And I think having no fear is like a great way to be a leader. Like you can't kind of have to put that fear down, whatever it is that you're afraid about, like just put it down and just move forward, because sometimes that fear is gonna be the thing that catapults you in your career.
And having that confidence to actually speak up, to say, okay, I have something, because you said, oh, I had this great idea, and then someone else brought it forward. Having that confidence that, hey, your idea is a good idea. Mm-hmm. This is what I always say. I know it's a crude term, but I spitball. Mm-hmm. Spitballing is, coming up with all these different ideas. They may not all work out, but you might be 1,000 spitballs that happen, and only 10 actually are great ideas that you can actually implement. Mm-hmm. But it's okay, because you've got 10 good ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And that's taking the confidence, or using the confidence to actually speak up and speak your truth and share your ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I mean, we're always so worried about saying the right thing, or making sure that sounds correctly because you want to be taken seriously, or those were all the things that kind of held me back. And now I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to speak what I need to speak. And if I have something to say, like I'm going to say it, and I need to share the idea. And I encourage my staff to share your ideas, because like we can't, especially because I have directors that are women too. And I was like, don't be silent in your groups that you are, where you're with your other colleagues. You need to make sure that you speak up too,
right?
And get your point across, because you guys are doing amazing work here,
right?
And they need to know about the amazing work that you guys are doing. I'm always sharing about what my team is doing, and making sure that they know that like they're doing amazing work. So
it's great.
Yeah, so I would just say speak up, don't be shy. Have that even if you don't feel confident either, like sometimes that little voice that's telling you, tell it to be quiet. Thank you for sharing, and then just move forward, because like it is that important. It's important to speak up.
For sure. Anna, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate the time we've spent together, and you sharing about what you do and then also some of your good advice. And I'm excited to see what you do next. I think you're going to keep evolving and doing bigger things. And congratulations on the pool opening.
Thank you.
That's really great news. And
thank you.
6 years in the coming, right?
Yeah.
5 or 6 years
it's
waiting
a
for
big
that.
deal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now that was powerful. We hope you've been lifted and encouraged by today's inspiring voice. Always remember that life doesn't look exactly the same for each one of us. Never stop dreaming, striving, and thriving. In future episodes, we look forward to bringing you powerful stories from amazing women who learn how to lead in to challenges. Thank you for listening and being part of our community with CEO host Rebecca Jones.
You have been listening to a Cloudcast original. Local stories, local storytellers, local brands. Find more stories at cloudcast.us.